some new details tonight about the arrest of rapper Jim Jones in Coweta County this week. Deputies say Jones was a passenger in a car that led police on a brief chase Wednesday night. And when deputies stopped the car, they say they found drugs inside.
We need to have a serious talk, everyone. Things have taken a shocking and intense turn. Jim Jones has been arrested, and this is far from a small matter that will go away anytime soon. From what's being reported, this situation could completely change his life as he knows it. You're probably thinking right now, what did Jim Jones get locked up for? You're not the only one wondering that. Many people are asking the same question. And let me tell you, the details coming out are wild. From what we know so far, it seems this goes way beyond just one mistake or one bad decision. The accusations include money laundering, racketeering, and even possible ties to powerful figures working behind the scenes.
Seat was rapper Jim Jones, who's 41 years old and his real name is Joseph Jones. The deputy says when he pulled behind the car on the interstate, quote, he noticed the smell of marijuana. He told me by telephone it was so strong he smelled it before he even noticed the car weaving down the road. And when he pulled alongside it, he says front seat passenger Darnell Wright turned on the interior dome light.
Let's break this down piece by piece, starting with racketeering. If you're not familiar with that word, it usually points to involvement in organized crime. This can include fraud, illegal businesses, and sometimes violent acts tied to criminal groups. If Jim is facing these charges, that means the federal government believes he was more than just on the sidelines. They think he may have been helping run or support some kind of criminal organization. Jim's name being linked to crime isn't something brand new. Remember when Tekashi 6699 was on trial back in 2019? Tekashi told the court that Jim was connected to the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. Even though Jim didn't speak out about it at the time, fans and the media had plenty to say. People couldn't decide whether Jim was actually mixed up in gang activity or if he just got caught up in street politics without truly being part of it. Now let's talk about the money laundering claims.
All 4 inside were eventually taken into custody: rapper Jim Jones, Darnell Wright, Jamal Smith, and Anna Miles. Deputies say all 4 are being charged with drug possession. The men are being charged with possession of a firearm and the commission of a crime. Deputies say they found a stolen handgun in the backseat where they say Jones and Jamal Smith.
Over the years, Jim has put his money into different types of businesses. He's invested in clothing lines, real estate, and even cryptocurrency. But now people are asking, were all of those business deals honest? Or is it possible that the feds think Jim was moving money around in ways that broke the law? Keep in mind, the feds don't just act on a hunch. From reports, they've had their eyes on Jim for more than a year. It's not like they woke up one morning and decided to arrest him out of the blue. According to sources, Jim has been under surveillance for months. There's even talk that this whole thing was a setup. The authorities reportedly used wiretaps and hidden recordings to build their case. And when the feds bring out recordings, that usually means they believe they have solid proof.
According to TMZ, rapper Jim Jones has been arrested in Coweta County. According to their report, they say Jones was in the back seat of a car that Coweta County deputies pulled over after a chase. Jones was arrested on possession of drugs and a handgun. In the report, sheriff's deputies say when they tried to pull the car over, they took off and a chase started. According to TMZ's report, during that chase, the car struck a deputy's vehicle and then finally stopped. Jones and 3 other people were inside of that car. After a search, deputies say they found marijuana, oxycodone, Percocet, as well as other drugs. They also tell us they found 2 loaded pistols and cash.
There's also another theory going around. Was someone close to Jim secretly working with law enforcement? Sadly, in cases like this, it's not unusual for someone on the inside to switch sides. Some fans are already convinced that someone in Jim's inner circle might have been sharing information with the authorities. Because, let's face it, the feds wouldn't come forward with charges like this unless they felt their case was strong. And let's not forget, this isn't Jim's first run-in with the law. Back in 2018, he was arrested in Georgia after a car chase where police found drugs in his vehicle. He managed to avoid serious prison time by taking a plea deal back then. But this time, it's on a whole different level. the federal system doesn't hand out plea deals as easily as state courts do. Now, Chrissy had to have something to say about all this. Chrissy didn't speak out right away after Jim's arrest. But those close to her say she's been doing everything she can behind the scenes, trying to get to the bottom of what's really going on. She's reportedly been in damage control mode, figuring out whether Jim has a fighting chance against these charges. Eventually, when people started to wonder why she was so silent, she posted on social media about standing by the people you love during hard times. Some fans saw that as her showing loyalty to Jim, while others thought maybe she was just trying to come to terms with everything before saying more. Within the hip-hop world, whenever a rapper gets caught up in a case like this, especially ARIC, a case everyone starts asking, who talked? Because in cases like this, someone on the inside almost always gives information to the authorities. Look at what happened with Tekashi 6ix9ine. When he got tied up with the 9 Trey case, he ended up testifying against people he once called friends to get a lighter sentence. Then there was Alpo Martinez, who flipped and helped the authorities take down his whole operation to save himself. People are now wondering if someone in Jim's crew decided to cooperate to protect themselves. After all, Jim's name was already tied to the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods because of Tekashi's court testimony. Even though Jim stayed quiet at the time, there were already rumors that he was being watched. And now that he's been arrested, the questions about who may have snitched are louder than ever. When it comes to following the money, the feds are experts. They've probably been digging into Jim's financial records, looking for anything that didn't add up. And let's be real, some of his business deals did raise eyebrows. Jim has put money into all kinds of things over the years: houses, fashion brands, crypto, but sometimes these industries are used to hide illegal money. If any of Jim's deals seemed off, that could have been what triggered this whole investigation. It's possible that the feds noticed unexplained movements of cash. Maybe they spotted large sums of money being sent from one place to another with no clear reason. That kind of thing is a red flag. And if Jim was doing business with someone who was already being watched, that could have drawn even more attention his way. This is how the feds build their cases. They spot something suspicious. Then they start looking deeper, checking phone calls, emails, social media, and soon enough, they have a case ready. Jim's connections in the industry could mean more people will be looked at too. Let's not forget about Dipset. Alongside Cameron, Jules Santana, and Freaky Zeke, Jim helped create that group. Dipset has always carried a certain image street, tough, with music that often references that life. Law enforcement has had their eye on them before. Remember when Jules Santana got arrested in 2018 for bringing a gun to the airport? Even though that wasn't directly connected to Dipset, it added to the image that the group was living that street life for real. Jim also has ties to other big names in hip-hop: Meek Mill, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z. The feds might not stop at just looking at Jim. If they think he's part of something bigger, they could expand their investigation and start looking at others he's done business with. And then, let's talk about that mugshot. When people saw Jim's booking photo, they expected him to look stressed out or embarrassed. But instead, Jim looked calm, maybe even a little smug, like he saw this coming. Most people in that position would be freaking out or at least looking upset. But Jim? He looked like he was unfazed. And that's got folks talking. Maybe he wasn't surprised at all. If he knew the feds were watching him for a long time, maybe he had prepared himself mentally for this day. Or maybe Jim is trying to show confidence on the outside, even if he's worried inside. As someone who's known for being tough, for having that street rep, the last thing he wants is to seem weak in front of the world. But no matter how calm he looks, if the feds have real proof, staying cool won't help him beat the case. So now we come to the big question: what's going to happen next? There are a few possibilities. First, Jim might take a deal. A lot of people in his situation end up doing that to avoid a longer sentence. If the evidence against him is strong, it might be smarter to agree to a shorter sentence rather than risk losing at trial and getting hit with decades behind bars. The second option is fighting the charges in court. If Jim and his lawyers think they have a chance, they might decide to go to trial. But that's a risky move. If he loses, The punishment could be severe. And the third possibility? This could grow into a bigger investigation. If the feds think Jim is part of a larger group, we might see more arrests in the near future. This could be just the beginning. Now, let's circle back to Chrissy. If you know anything about their relationship, you know she's always had Jim's back. It's no surprise she's standing by him now. But if this gets uglier as it plays out, will she keep supporting him? Will she speak out more? We'll have to wait and see. This whole situation is beyond shocking, and I know you all have thoughts about it. So let's hear them. Do you think Jim is guilty? Was he set up? And do you believe Chrissy will stand by him no matter what happens? Share your opinions below. And that wraps it up for today. I'll see you next time as we continue to follow this unbelievable story.